Hey everybody, it's Bill back in the garage today. I haven't put out a video in a while. Just kind of life taking over, graduation. A lot of people are going through all kinds of stuff. Hung out with families a little bit. So I'm just kind of kicking it in the garage today. If you can, take a minute, subscribe to my channel. I could use the subscribers. Like it, whatever. So I'm out here in the garage today. I've had my carpet kit for the car for probably a month, and so I'm gonna swing you guys around. This is what I'm looking at. Got my seats out, got them sitting on the ground in front of my car, and this is where I ordered my carpet kit. This is Auto Custom Carpets, and I just ordered the one for the 55, 57 Chevy 210 series. I had to pick all this. 2-door, 4-door, one piece. I ordered the one piece. They do have a 2-piece, which is a front section and a back section. I didn't want that. I wanted the one piece. So anyway, looks like a pretty good carpet right out of the box. So here's what I got going. So too much blah blah blah. So anyway, I kind of set it in here, and it's pretty decent. It's really long, but it does have some relief spots. I don't know if you guys can kind of see that, where it does have like relieved areas that sit along the floor. You can really see this one back here. This is the back section along the back seat. I got it rolled up on the edges over here, and I just kind of set this in place and just kind of got my hands in there and tried to get set up to where my shifter is. And I've got my plates for my shifter. Those are tacked down to the floor, so I couldn't do anything with those. So that's how those are. So I was just kind of trying to get this thing in the neighborhood of where it's going to fit, and just stretching it out little by little. Now this is the bottom of the carpet. It's plastic. I did lay it out in the sun. Laid it out in the sun for a couple hours and just kind of let it warm up a little bit. It does have a few little spots in it where you can see ridges and stuff in the carpet. I'm sure those will come out as it heats up and relaxes. So right now I'm just kind of sitting over here on the driver's side. I got this little foot pad. This foot pad is already installed on it. Got this foot pad kind of set where I need to, and more than anything else, I'm using these. I'm using these raised corners right here that you can see, and these fit right on the edge of this raised part of the floor. So that's what I'm kind of using as where this carpet needs to go. And also, like I said, this one back here. So I just started trimming to try to slide this around, and slide this around the 2 plates for my shifter. And it's really long in the front. I don't know if you guys can see it. I got it kind of really curled up around everything. I'm gonna have to figure out where my shifter cable comes through, because it comes through right up in here somewhere. So I'm gonna have to figure out where that comes through. Also, I've got wires for my seats. My seats are powered seats, and I got wires right here. So I'm gonna have to figure out, probably cut myself a little hole right here to pull my wires through for my seats. And just kind of moving along little by little. I do have some wires that come down right underneath here for, I believe, backup lights, and I don't know if it's a reverse lockout. I'd have to see. There's a couple wires, and I've got them put in a little loom, so I'm probably going to cut myself a little hole right here somewhere, so I can snake those through and have those available if I want to hook everything up later. So that's what I'm doing right now. Just kind of playing around, just moving little by little. I know it's not much information, but this is how I'm getting started, just to lay this thing in here. And like I said, I've pretty much just used this corner on the driver's side, and I don't know if you guys can see it real well, but this is, like I said, where I've used just to position on this side. And it is a little long over here. I'm going to have to look at trimming this up where it rolls into the back here. It's got a pretty good overhang into the back. So that's going to all have to be trimmed down. And so I'm just moving along little by little. So I'm going to kind of take a look and see if I can't get to where I can find my first couple of bolt holes here. And I'll be back. So that's what I'm doing. All right, I'm back. So anyway, what I'm doing is I've got a couple bolts. Here's my seat bolts here and here. Like I said before, this is the excess. It's really long. So I just kind of got it tucked up out of the way. And like I said, I'm following these imprints in the carpets back here in the back and just reaching under and finding my bolt holes. And what I'm using is I'm just using one of these little hole punch things, and I'm just punching a hole. There's just hit it with a hammer. I mean, there's a lot of people saying, oh, you got to heat up a pin bar or a bolt, or you got to use a soldering iron or whatever. I'm just punching a little hole in here, and once I get all these bolt holes lined up, like I said, I've got this one here, I've got the other one. I've got to get my back, find my back one. And then what I did is I punched a hole right here in the middle. This is for my power wire for my seat. Like I said again, it comes from over here. This is the harness. And then it's got, it's tied into the power wire that goes across. And I'll do the same thing. I'll pop a hole in the carpet right in the middle there, kind of in the middle of the seat bolts. And that's power wire for the other seat. That's all I have hooked up. And then my grounds, I just run them just to a bolt, just to a seat bolt. So that's all I'm doing. I'm just taking this little pin, this little pick, whatever you want to call it, and I'm just finding the hole, sticking this through into the hole, and then I'm just taking this little, I don't know what they call these, wax marker, China marker, or whatever, and I'm just making a little dot. And then sliding a wood block. I got a piece of 2x4 right there. Slide a piece of 2x4 underneath it and take my hole punch, crack it with a hammer. So anyhow, I'm just moving along little by little, trying to make sure that I kind of keep this straight, and just putting a couple of bolts in here just to kind of keep this all in the neighborhood of where it needs to be. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's all kind of going to settle itself in, I'm sure. And I've heard everybody talking about you can take a kind of a heat gun and warm it and kind of shape it a little bit more if you need to. A lot of people are saying it just relaxes on its own, and as long as you cut it, don't cut it too short, you won't screw up. So anyway, that's what I'm doing. I'm just moving along. Like I said, got my power wire out, and got a couple of bolts in. So I'm gonna grab this, figure out where this back bolt is, and then I'll move to the other side, and I'll start searching around over there, seeing what I can find over there, making sure that I'm lined up back here in the back on the you know, like on this side here. Make sure I've got my carpet lined up kind of to where it needs to be and get it in the neighborhood. This is all about, looks to be quite a bit too long on the sides. I don't know, 4 or 5 inches, and in the front it's very long. I'm gonna have to take some time, tuck in the front all up underneath, probably have to cut a slit in it and go around where my accelerator pedal is and stuff like that. So because if I pull it back, you can kind of see where all that is, and this is pretty long. Probably have to cut a slit for the steering column and kind of go up on both sides of the steering column so that I get it up high enough so that it covers. Definitely don't want to just hack it off and cut it too short and then have it look real stupid. So anyway, also I was going to tell you guys, this carpet kit did, just so I don't leave you hanging, this carpet kit did come with the felt. Let me go out back here and pop this box open. I'm not using it right now. Hope you guys don't get sick. It does come with this jute felt backing. The kit did come with it. I've got Dynamat in here, so I'm not using it. Stuff this back in there. So make my way back through here. So I'm not using it, but I may later. You know, I suppose I could always change my mind, and it really wouldn't be that tough to lay under there and you know, rough cut it. Hell, I could even slice it down the middle, put one piece on this side, one piece on that side. Like I said, with Dynamat everywhere around here, it's probably not that big of a deal that I use the jute. The jute's kind of a sound deadener, and the Dynamat kind of does the same type of thing. All right, still continuing on. I'm using a punch. Like I said, I got the carpet rolled back, putting a little bit more Dynamat down. I got a few sheets left. I got what's left of a box over there. I figured I might as well use it up. So throwing a little bit more Dynamat down under this stuff, and like I said, I'll have to kind of decide if I want to use the jute backing or not. It's real easy. I could, like I said, I could slice it in half, and I could slip half of it under here, go on the other side, slip half of it under there, you know, just all the way along on both sides. It doesn't really have to be connected over the transmission hump or anything like that. So just still moving along. Like I said, I got the carpet rolled back, doing a little bit of Dynamat, and then I'm just kind of going to continue on. My shifter cable comes out right there. Like I said, I had a few little wires coming down here. One's for my backup lights, one's for my reverse lockout. So I had to cut a hole and put those wires through the carpet right where my shifter is. So just cruise along. I'll be back. All right, well, been playing around. Got it trimmed real crudely, I guess is the word, along this one edge on the driver's side. I've still got to work to get it sliced in a couple of places for the emergency brake, and also for the dimmer switch. I don't know if you can see the dimmer switch hiding back there, but I have to probably slice it for the dimmer switch. But I guess for the most part, also I've got to trim all on that side all the way down, all the way to the back, and then I got to get back in here and trim this part. But for the most part, I've got it laid down, and I've got the seat bolts put in, and I've got the wires pulled through. So I've got my wire here for my seat, my power wire, and then like I said, I just hooked my ground to one of these bolts. I've got the wires here under my shifter for my reverse lights and my reverse lockout, and I've got a couple other seat bolts, and there's my other power wire sitting over there in the middle. And so just kind of playing around. Hopefully this thing will kind of relax itself a little bit. There's still a few spots where it's kind of weird, where it wants to sit up in the air. Those may be the spots where I loosen this stuff up and put some of that jute underneath. You know, I could put a section in here. I could put a square of it back here, because it seems like some of this in here is kind of tight, and the same on the other side, kind of over in that area there, where I can push it down and it'll touch the floor. I don't know if they stretch it a certain way or make it a certain way, so that it's only stretched so much. The other thing I can do is, they did talk about, I've seen people on the internet and watched a few videos on this talking about using a heat gun. I don't know if you guys can see it, but up here in the transmission, top of the transmission tunnel, I've got kind of a little kink in there. I've got to figure out what to do with that. I didn't really want to cut it. That might be a place I'll definitely take a heat gun and try to maybe warm it up a little and see if I can kind of schmooze it, you know, kind of schmooze it around that corner that way there. But I trimmed it just a little bit up there to get underneath around my gas pedal mount. So just kind of got it thrown in here. Nothing finalized yet, but all in all, it's going good. Taking me an afternoon to do it. And I did, I was talking earlier about people talking about taking something hot and putting it in the holes. Well, I used a hole punch, like a small hole punch, like I showed you guys earlier. But I did take my soldering iron, and I did take my soldering iron and I turned this on, and all I did is just kind of ran it around the inside of the holes just a little bit, because the carpet just wants to fray no matter what you do unless you burn it. So I definitely understand what everybody's talking about using something hot to just kind of melt a little bit of the carpet around the top, because the bolts can grab it. I had one bolt over on the other side that actually grabbed a little piece of it, and it made it real hard to put in. And when I took the bolt out, there was a probably about an inch long little stringer of the loop of the carpet that came out. But all in all, it looks nice. So I'll keep moving and keep trimming, and I'll be back. Okay, continuing the carpet saga. So what I'm doing is I'm just trimming it. You can see how I got the edging. I put this edge piece, this new trim piece on. Probably gonna end up taking it off later down the road, depending on what I decide to do with paint. But just trimming, you know, with a razor blade the end of the carpet. I've been taking this little torch, little hand torch, butane torch, and just kind of warming the ends. You know, it just kind of takes the frays off of the ends, just trying to tuck everything in. Cut a hole for my dimmer switch. So, you know, it doesn't fit 100% yet. I didn't glue it. Probably don't want to glue it right now till I'm done. I remounted my fire extinguisher, so I've got my fire extinguisher back in, my shifter back in. I did put some of the matte backing. I didn't use the whole thing, so what I did is I just kind of cut myself some pieces. I did put a piece underneath here, and I did put a piece back here in the back, you know, just under the footboards. I put one over here. This one here goes over on the other side. I haven't put it in yet. You know, I just kind of measured. I measured from like here where this lip rolls down. I don't know if you can see it, where it rolls down and the carpet's kind of formed. You know, they have the carpet formed somehow so that it fits all the contours. And so what it is it's actually loose without the mat. So I put a little bit of mat in there. I have, of course, you can see I got kill mat all over the place back here and on the doors. Just kind of kill matted the whole thing. Probably not necessary by a long shot, but I just went through and did it. And so what I'm doing now is just little by little, just trimming the carpet, you know, just trying to come along, you know, like my edges here, you know, just trim these down close. Trim them along the screw holes for the trim board here. So I'm just moving slowly, little by little, tucking it up in the top here as high as I can. I haven't had to cut any across the top, just kind of tucked it up under everything. Cut a little slit where my emergency brake handle is, cut a little slit where my gas pedal is, down underneath here. So I'm just continuing along little by little. I'll go ahead and put this piece of backing. All I did is just lifted the carpet and slid it under. I've got the bolts. Right now I've got my seat bolts in. I just found those and, you know, cut those and installed those just so that I'd kind of have them in there and know where they were. Pulled my wire through for my seat, my power wire. My ground, I just ground to a bolt. So just little by little, just putting along. I've got an extra roll of carpet over there that I ordered. I don't know what it is, about a 6 or 8 foot roll. And what I'm going to look at is I'm going to look at trying to cut some pieces and see if I can cover these fender wells from like right up there in the top edge of the seat, and then just kind of roll it over underneath the door panels, which I don't have, and just come down here and meet the bottom piece of the carpet, just have it kind of roll underneath the edge of the seat. So that's what I'm going to do also. That's going to be my next feet. I'm just moving over here to the other side, throw this piece of padding in, just trim down that side. And then I'm going to start, like I said, looking at trying to cover these wheel wells just from the, you know, roll up to the door panel, underneath the edge of the door panel, and then just come back around, just see how much I can roll it around under the edge of the seat. I might have to use a heat gun and warm it, but I'm just trucking along little by little. So I'll be back. All right, well, I kind of got everything trimmed up. I've got it installed. I've got it trimmed to the backs kind of my quarter panels. And so kind of got everything trimmed, tucked in up front. I've got to get my kick panels that go up in here and go on the other side, put those in. Those have speakers in them, so that's something else I'm going to work on. And like I said, where I'm moving now is I'm going to start looking at carpeting up in here and up on the other side, and so that when I make my door panels, the carpet will just kind of roll, you know, off the inner wheel well. So just like this, the carpet will just roll kind of off the inner wheel well underneath, and then just kind of tuck down on the sides of the seat. So that's what I'm going to start working on. But for now, I think I'm going to end this video here. And this is what I got going on. And this is something that you guys can totally do yourself. I don't think you have to have somebody do this for you. Take a little bit of time, and you know, you can definitely do it. I got my shifter in, got my fire extinguisher put back in. All I had to do is just take a pick and find the holes for it. So I'm just moving on. So that's where I'm going to end this video. I hope everybody has a great day. If you got time, please like and subscribe. I appreciate it. Everybody have a great day.